Good evening, YouTube. My name's Ready to Cock, and of course, I'm the Panman XA. So, yeah. And you know what just happened? Wigorg has just posted a release on a bunch of confirmation on a bunch of cards concerning the Witchcraft monsters and ignitions. And you know what that means? I get to talk about it to you, goody gumdrops. I'm sure you're ecstatic. So yeah, I wanted to just talk about them, my thoughts, and how I imagine the deck could potentially work. So yeah, the first one is a level 2 Witchcraft monster named Witchcraft Pottery. She is level 2 Earth spellcaster, 0 attack, 2000 defense. Both 2 effects, both which locked hard on its turn. During the main phase quick effect, by attributing her and discarding a spell, special on another Witchcraft deck except for another Pottery. So yeah, this is exactly the same as Schmitter, and it pretty much all the level 4 lower Witchcrafts will be able to do this. So you can potentially cycle through, which kind of reminds you of Prankins. Being able to cycle through the deck is honestly pretty powerful. And she also has another effect that is from banishing from the graveyard, just like Schmitter. If you have no cards in your hand, banish her from your graveyard, then target a Witchcraft card in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. This is really quite practical. She's definitely probably the best. As far as level 4 lowest, she's probably the best one just because of the utility she brings, including the fact that she's a level 2 monster. This comes into play later if you see what the next support is. So yeah. The rest of the even more Witchcrafts, including their spells, which when I first saw the Witchcraft, I knew that their spells and how powerful they'd be could make or break this deck. They don't disappoint. You are going to have a lot of fodder for discarding. So yeah, before that, another Witchcraft monster, Witchcraft Pottery. Yeah, I feel like these two monsters have very similar names. So yeah, she's level 3 water spellcaster effect, 1000 attack, 1500 defense, 2 effects, both locked hard on turn. During either main phase, tribute her, discard a spell, so some from deck, except for another copy of the same card, just like the other two, Schmitter and Pottery. So yeah. And her graveyard effect is by banishing her from the graveyard, draw 1 card, then send 1 Witchcraft card from your hand to the graveyard. Or if you don't have any Witchcrafts in your hand, you have to banish your entire hand. Honestly, it's pretty nice. I'm about to explain that the Witchcraft Themes has a lot of level 5 or higher monsters, so this can potentially help you unclog your hand. Or potentially load up spells in your graveyard to bring themselves back again and so it's like if you don't. I'll probably say that she's probably the weakest of level 4 lower monsters, but the fact that she summons from the deck probably makes her insta-free of anyway. It's a really useful effect to have, like Lone Fire and the best parts of Lone Fire, the best parts of Sun Monk. Oh yeah, it's also a quick effect. Brilliant. Now we're going to the level 5 or higher, the big beaters, the power plays. So yeah, Witchcraft Adele. She's my favourite. She looks the prettiest. So yeah. Only use each effect once a turn. Sorry. Quick effect. Discard a spell, then special summon Witchcraft from your hand, except Adele. So yeah, you don't even have to tribute, but summoning from your hand is actually kind of weak for such a heavy cost. The second effect is actually pretty interesting though. Tribute her, then target any spell card in your graveyard except for an Adele, and special summon it. I think the main problem with this card doesn't really generate much plussing, which isn't a deal breaker all the time, but it's a lot more likely to be when you're dealing with a level 5 or higher monster with only 2000 attack points. Obviously she's there to help, for the purpose to help you get cards you want out of your hand and cards you want out of your graveyard much more easily. So she could potentially have a lot of utility just for those. So yeah. the next cards are a bit more... The next monster, Witchcraft Hain. Level 7 Dark Spellcaster Effect Monster. So yeah, you can summon her with that Dark Magic Veil spell card, now when I think about it. Pretty nifty. She has 2 effects, the second of which is locked to hard once a turn. The first one is a continuous effect. Other spellcasters you control are not targetable by card effects. Then number 2 is quick effect. By discarding a spell, target a face-up card you controls and destroy it. So yeah, we've got a Pleiades-esque on our hands, where you can just disrupt and ruin stuff during your turn. All in all, a very solid monster to just go into most of the time. I can't imagine her doing you wrong. Yeah. The other in being able to protect your spellcasters from being targeted is nice, since there's another card, level 8. I don't think I've covered her yet in any previous video. Witchcraft Master there. I'll talk about her a bit. So yeah, you can potentially use 2 copies, and if they're both on the field, neither of them become targetable by card effects, but they can still be targeted by attack, so that's probably weak, especially since the second effect is locked hard on turn. I can't imagine this being very strong. Oh yeah, she also has 2400 attack and 1000 defense, Monarch standard. So yeah, just food for thought. So yeah, the spell cards, this is where things get really powerful. Witchcraft Creation, normal spell. You can only use 1 effect a turn and only once that turn, so yeah, no 2 effects during the same turn. Event number 1, when activated, adds a Witchcraft monster from your deck to your hand, so pretty much Rota. But the second effect is where things really ramp up. During your end phase, if you control a Witchcraft monster while this card is in your graveyard, you may add it back to your hand. So yeah, you basically be able to potentially bring it back to use as discard fodder, or even potentially search again if it stays on, if you can. Generally very nifty. Witchcraft Sabotage. Normal spell, only 1 effect a turn, only once that turn. Effect number 1 is target a Witchcraft monster in your graveyard and throw summon it, so monster reborn for them. And during the end phase, if you control a Witchcraft monster and she's in you, and the card is in your graveyard, add it back to your hand. Yeah, we'll see that every spell in the theme does this, or some variation of it. So yeah, you can basically just have 5 copies of these types of cards in your graveyard at any time point and just start. Yeah, you'll never have to worry about the discard costs on the Witchcrafts again. They're pretty much covered at that point for the rest of the game. So yeah. Witchcraft Collaboration is also a normal spell. Target a Witchcraft monster you control during this turn, gets 2 attacks during the battle phase, and if it attacks, your opponent cannot activate spells or traps until the end of the damage step. During the end phase, if you control which monster it's in your graveyard, it goes back to your hand. Only 1 effect at a turn, and only once at a turn, so yeah. Exactly like the last 2, but its effect can do a lot of damage, although it's nowhere near as useful and versatile as the other 2, and could potentially be dead more often. I see it mostly being used as a one-off, just to capitalise on the second effect. I'm pointing at my iPad that's off screen. Why am I doing that? Sorry. Yeah, all in all very solid. And again, similar with Witchcraft Draping. So yeah, quick play spell this time. Target spells and traps your opponent controls up to the number of Witchcraft monsters you control and return to the hand. During the end phase, if you control a Witchcraft monster on your graveyard, add it back to your hand. So yeah, you can basically a nice toy to mess up with your opponent's back row. I can't wait to have this. I can't wait to test this, although my Rigo Pro is a bit having technical difficulties, so I've not been able to do in quite a while, and I'll definitely get help for that. So yeah, all incredibly solid. Like spell and trap removal like this kind of reminds you of Forever Painter. What's it called again? The Rainy Reverie pattern where it returns spells and traps to hand. I like that card mostly because it's one of those under-assuming cards that you don't expect to do anything except on those one occasional matchups, for example, Guru Control, where it just single-handedly wins you the door and they can't do anything, and it's just hilarious when that happens. Oh no, I love cards like that. Pretty niche, and Just niche and mostly useless, except for that. But still kind of okay-ish, except for that one duel where just single-handedly carries, like, that's kind of like why I like Graveyard Disruption. Doesn't happen as much, although Konami are experimenting a bit more often, I noticed. So yeah, I should probably keep going. Sorry, rambling. Nattering on. So yeah, Witchcraft by Street is a continuous spell this time. Has 3 effects. You can only use one of the second and third effect a turn, and only once that turn. The first effect, while on the field, each turn, the first time one of your witchcrafts is destroyed by battle or effect, they're not destroyed. Okay. Effect number 2 is, if you would discard from the hand to activate the effect of a witchcraft monster you control, you may send it face up to the graveyard instead, which is really useful, because you can benefit from the protection while still being able to get rid of it in a pinch. The last effect. During the end phase, if you control witchcraft monster whilst in the graveyard, you may place it in your spell and trap zone face up. So yeah, that's what I meant earlier when I said they either do the same thing or have slight variation on it. Being able to place it in your spell and trap zone is really useful because its effects go off and you have discard fodder, basically. Witchcraft Scroll is a continuous spell card similar to By Street, and it's got 3 effects, 2 and 3, only one off a turn, only once a turn. They're exactly the same as the previous one I mentioned. But the on-field effect is, once a turn when a spellcaster monster you control destroys a monster battle, draw 1 card. If you discard to activate a witchcraft monster effect, send it to the graveyard instead. And during the end phase, if you control a witchcraft monster while it's in your graveyard, it goes back to your spell trap zone face up. So yeah, I don't really care too much for the destroy one monster battle, draw card effect. You're using it's still incredibly useful because you can just get it back from the graveyard again and again. And that's probably so it doesn't really need to be that great. And honestly, if it was, it would be crazy. So, but you don't. So yeah. The final card, well, actually, maybe not the final card. We should talk about that after this. But yeah, the final card we've reviewed today for the Witchcrafts is basically the obligatory trap card. Honestly, I wasn't so sure how they'd approach it because they're pretty much obligatory since they're one of the main mechanics, although they aren't as useful in a concept deck like Witchcrafts where you need the monsters, you need the spells, and the traps risk bricking you, but I actually think Witchcraft Masterpiece is pretty nifty, honestly. So yeah, if you control a Witchcraft monster, target a spell card in either player's graveyard and add any card from your deck to your hand with the same name as it. So if you've got like Witchcraft Rotor in your graveyard, you can search for another copy of it to search again, or if your opponent, you can target in your opponent's graveyard, so if your opponent has Monster Reborn, you can search one of your own, or you can use it with any spell, not just Witchcraft stuff. So let's say Pot of Extravagance, or Called by the Grave. There's just a lot of potential things it can do, but that's not all it can do. You may banish it and any number of spell cards from your graveyard to special summon from your deck a Witchcraft monster with a level equal to the number of spells you just banished. You cannot do this event during the same turn it went to the graveyard though, so yeah. Special summon a Witchcraft from your deck by banishing it. Pretty, very, very helpful, especially since one of the Witchcraft monsters is level 2, so yeah. Honestly, for a legendary trap card, the spell theme type, I actually think it's actually way better than it has any right to be. I really like it. So yeah. Witchcraft Master there. Excuse me while I just summon up her wiki page, because, you know, I think I remember it, but better safe than sorry. There. Okay, bringing her up again, because we haven't talked about her. Witchcraft Master Ver, level 8. Spellcaster, 1,000 attack, 2800 defense, so creative stat spread. Oh yeah, she's also the smug girl picture that you've seen associated with the Infinity Chasers pack. I love the personality they give these cards sometimes. So yeah, she's got 2 effects, each lock card once a turn. During damage calculation of a spellcaster monster you control battles opposing monster, reveal any number of spells with different names in your hand, and if you do, that monster gains 1,000 attack defense for each card revealed until the end of the turn. Quick effect: by discarding a spell, you may negate the effects of every face-up monster your opponent currently controls until the end of the turn. So yeah, she's actually a really practical negation body. She's easily tutable from the deck with the Witchcraft monsters, and the only problem is she's a level 8 monster that you can potentially brick. Adele helps you unbrick, although you don't have a lot of options if you draw her. But still pretty interesting, honestly. Actually really like. She's actually a really practical card, especially since her attack boost means you can have her in attack mode, and potentially or leave her in defense mode and use her effect to save it for using it on your other spellcasters. There's just a lot of potential versatility here. It's held back by the inherent fact that it's a level 8 monster, but it's just a very useful boss monster, and that's definitely a one-off. So yeah, before we go, might as well talk about the Infinite Ignition card they revealed. Well, I'd say Infinite Ignition cards, although you could argue that's a misnomer since while they support the archetype, neither of them have it in their name or mention them in their text. They're mostly machine support that's designed with them in mind. Specifically, Outrigger Expand. If you're familiar with a level 5 monster that got revealed a while ago and his effect was to search for a very specific card, but the translators couldn't figure out what name it was, it searches for this card, and it's quite a card. I actually really like it. So yeah, it's a continuous spell. First effect being, machine exceeds you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Once per turn you can target an Infinitrack exceeds monster you control. I've just found out that they're being called the Infinitracks right now. Wow. Oh wait, it does mention them by name, but I was missing. Infinitracks. Special off from your deck, any exceeds machine that is 2 ranks higher by using it as material. You can also summon monsters except Earth Machine for the rest of the turn after activating. So yeah, you can turn the rank 5 into rank 7 to rank 9, and go even further, you can go into the rank 11 Juggernaut Leap. There's the train Sinji we was looking for. I like that they're keying in. I like that they can do that. Just really nice. Oh yeah. I also like it because it's a really practical card that isn't necessarily based on plussing, although I think the main thing that makes it really good is the existence of that level 5 that can search it, because at that point its existence is a plus, and it's a very helpful card because you can go into your powerful exceeders more easily. All in all, very solid. And one more card. Spin Turn. It's really weird. Like I'm guessing the Infinite Ignitions are going to be like the Impact Phantom Beast, where none of their spell trap card support have the archetype name in name, so they can't really support them and make them consistent. And if I had a week, I could tell you all the things that are wrong with Mega Phantom Beasts because of that. I say that, they're probably still my solid favourite archetype of all time. I love those planes, and I'm getting distracted again. So yeah, Spin Turn! Spin to win, baby. So yeah, Normal Trap, activate one of 2 effects. Target an attack mode Earth Machine exceeds you control and a monster your opponent controls. Change your monster to defense mode if you neutral opponent's monster. Or by targeting a defense mode Earth Machine you exceeds you control and a spell or trap card your opponent controls, change the battle position of your monster, and if you do, destroy their card. the Infinitrack, I'm still got to get used to that, is basically, if I'm correct, they are quite versatile while in attack or defense mode, particularly the 7 and 9, which is pretty nifty, I guess, although I don't think it's all that powerful since, well, you need a Machine Xyz monster, so it could potentially be dead. It's a 1-for-1, getting rid of opponent's card, which can be impactful at times, but the fact that it's unsearchable means that it's about as consistent as, say, Solemn Strike. And would you rather be using Solid Strike? Obviously, Solemn Strike usually wins because it's just got so much more power to it. Although, similar to Outrigger Expand, they could simply make a card that does spin, searches for spin turn, and if that happens, you can potentially use it, but it's still a little situational. Oh no, I don't see much going on with it, honestly. So yeah, let me just double check to see if there's absolutely nothing else to talk about. I'm done! So yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. My name is James Clark, the Pan Messi, and I shall see you the next time. You are now relieved.